Before I start this show, I want to say that TellTale Studios have recently closed their doors. There's only 25 staffs left, and they're trying to hurry up and finish up the last season of The Walking Dead. And sadly, my heart goes out to the studio and all those employees. But that raised two questions. One, what made TellTale so unique? And second, what are some of the things that they did that could have gone better for them? You know, maybe they could have lasted longer. But let's try to answer those questions. Let's start the show. Welcome to another episode of the In-Game Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Evans, and we have another wonderful episode for you today. But if you remember our last episode about superheroes with my mini boss, Curtis Sism, definitely check him out on our show, Game Halls of Rivalries, which we'll be talking about later. But we're going to talk about my most important mini boss. He has made a return. Now, this guy, if you ever played a Mario game and stuff, he's the one that's kind of towards the end of the level. Like my mini bosses for Curtis and Travis, they're kind of up in the forefront. You know, we got a gatekeeper, then we have a middleman. But John is the one in the, in the back with his show, Area 44. So John, say hello to everybody as the mini boss.
Yo, what's up? Man, that's some, I don't know the words to just describe what you said, but man, I feel special. Thank you.
But I think you are that mini boss. You're one of my closest friends, but you are that mini boss that will make sure that, they have to really kick your butt to get through that door. Am I right?
Oh, that's right. They're not going through me easy. Come on now.
Right. Right. So and for John, if you want to challenge him, I would stay away from shooters.
I dare you.
That's his specialty. So I wouldn't face him in that realm. Maybe puzzles. Puzzles, you'll probably get them. Maybe. I don't know. Are you good at puzzles, John?
No, I'm not good at puzzles, but I will kick your butt in Mario Kart. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Okay, that's true. To this day, I still haven't beat him once, and he refused to get 8 on the Switch. So
I need to get it.
Well, now because the online is kind of disappointing because now we got to pay for me to try to beat you.
Oh yeah, I just hate the fact that it's almost the same game that was on the Wii U, so it's like I have to buy it again. I wish I could just. I know it's a deluxe version, so they do have more. I'm gonna get it eventually, just because I love Mario Kart and I'm good at it.
Probably when it's on a sale. If you saw it for $20, you're like, I am not saying no to that.
Exactly, but I think Smash Brothers is coming first, and then Mario Kart.
John, speaking of shooters, I am playing a lovely game that I feel like is an underrated game. And it is a game, I'm pretty sure you saw me play it, but it's a game that I haven't laughed so hard at a shooter game in a long time. It's a game is so dumb, but it's dumb and fun. It's like Die Hard on adrenaline shooter game, and that's Bulletstorm. And
snap!
And I've been just sitting back and enjoying that game. That game is so much fun.
Okay,
that might be in my top 20 favorite first-person shooter games of all time.
Wow, that's saying something.
Yeah, because to tell you the truth, I have to sit there and think of 20 shooter games that I like.
Now that Bulletstorm, that's the one that's you can have these crazy combos, right?
Yeah, the goal is combos. That's how you get your currency to upgrade your weapons.
Okay.
And so, but the game is just it's bloody, it's gory, it's not afraid to go all out in it. It's the reason why it's an M-rated game. But I got the full clip edition, and this is basically the PS4 edition, 60 frames per second.
Ooh, that right there, you got me sold.
Right, and it runs smooth like butter, and there's a Duke Nukem mode. And I've been playing as Duke Nukem, and it's been a heck of a ride.
Is his voice in the game?
Yeah. So the way it works
better.
is you can play the original campaign with the main character, but if you play the Duke Nukem way, Duke Nukem comes in there and he talks through the whole thing, but he knows that he doesn't belong in this game, and he talks about how like he doesn't belong in this game. Like they'll call him by the main character's name, and he's like, I'm not Gary, I'm Duke, baby. And so he'll go through this game, and he'll say his like dialogue and everything, like, you know, hell to the king, baby, and all this kind of stuff. And the funny part is like he'll go in like one time. Well, I think there's one part in the game he goes into a flashback. And he ends up killing this person that they're not supposed to kill. And it's like, haha, I tricked you, and all this stuff. And the guys were looking at him, I was like, what are you doing? It's like, what do you mean what I'm doing? I'm not supposed to be in this flashback. Where am I? And so it doesn't take itself seriously. It's having fun. Duke Nukem is just killing me with these lines. He is just a one-trick pony from the 90s, and it's just fun. So if you play that game, John, just play it and just sit back and enjoy it. And it's just hilarious.
That is awesome. Now you said that's the full clipped or reclipped?
No, it's called full clip.
Full clip, because I know that game came out a while back.
Yes, on the 360 era.
Yeah. So when did the full clip version come out? Like it's like remastered kind of?
Yes. Yeah, okay. They kind of upgrade the graphics, did some lightings, 60 frames per second, added new features. The Duke Nukem automatically comes with it. Okay. You just put the code in, you get it. That game came out. The full clip came out last year.
Okay, I was gonna say it can't be that old. I remember hearing it at like E3 or something.
Yeah, it came out last year, but the original came out in 2011.
Okay, gotcha.
And so, but like I said, like one of the best scenes in that game that just got me going is you're going through this factory and this buzzsaw machinery is going, and you end up demolishing this whole station. You're riding this train down this valley that looks like Mad Max while this giant blade thing is coming after you. And while you're doing that, this thing is going so fast, all these other vehicles are chasing you down, shooting you, and you're just having this giant machine gun shooting out everything. And you're doing this while this giant blade thing is just going down this path following you. And it's just a remarkable scene. And it's developed by the people Can Fly. Those are the people that I believe worked on the last Gears of War, the Gears of War Judgment.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So those are the same developers that did this one. Now, I think they did this because they're hoping maybe they get enough to see if there's a sequel, because it's by Gearbox. Your people that did Borderlands, and also they're the ones that 2K got the rights to Duke Nukem. That's how you got Duke Nukem into that game too. Right. And so, I got it for $10, brand new at Walmart. I saw it there. I was like, I always wanted to play this. I picked it up. Never looked back. Love it. I recommend. I got it for $10.
That sounds like an over the top, like just fun game to play. So
yeah. If you see it on sale, John, $10 or even cheaper, I say give it a try and just sit back and enjoy. Do not go into this game serious. Go in and just have fun with it.
Okay. Now, how far deep into it are you?
I'm in Act 3 right now. It's basically you're basically like a space pirate or you're a bounty hunter or something like that, and you end up crashing your ship on this planet, and you're trying to get off the planet. That's basically what the premise is. And on your voyage, you're fighting all these different people from the planet, from dealing with these crazy demons to controlling a giant dinosaur to going through a giant park. It's just one thing after another.
Is there multiplayer, or is it just single player?
There is a multiplayer, but it's not co-op. I think it's just multiplayer of
just like deathmatch and stuff like that.
I don't think. Actually, I think there is co-op. I think there's co-op where you compete each other while you're co-oping. So like your goal is to outdo each other on points on the way you do your kills.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and one of the highlights you'll be doing a lot is using a leash where you grab them and they bring them to you, and everything you do is in slow motion when you do that.
Here. Like
basically.
Okay,
yeah, cool. Yeah, and they go in slow motion, so that gives you like time to shoot them in the air, and then you have the giant kick, whereas Duke Nukem is known for. You kick these people into stuff. Like you'll kick them in the spikes, you'll kick them in the shockers, you'll kick them in the blades, you'll kick them into cactus spikes. And you'll get from shotguns, machine guns, grenade launchers. Like I said, you'll just have to check it out, sit back, enjoy it.
You sold me on it. Shoot.
So, but it does have harsh language. I will not hold back on that.
Gotcha.
But
it's Duke Nukem, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, Find on sale, buy it. I recommend for everybody. I think you won't be disappointed. I think it's considered one of the most underrated games to me.
Okay, nice.
And then on that's the game I'm currently playing, John. What are you busting out over there? What you playing? I see you jumping around a little bit over there.
Yeah, dude, I'm all over the place right now. So definitely playing Destiny 2, the new expansion. I just got NBA 2K19.
Now you could be part of the conversation.
Yeah, so now I'm part of the crew with Nam, Nick, and Stone. Shout out to those guys. They're all, since they they got a special edition. So
special.
Exactly. So all their players are like 88, I think, like around 85, 88, around there. And my guy's like at 67. So but I played with Stone and Nam yesterday. It's cool. They have like these community events now. So like last night it was all dark, but everything was like all the different courts and your clothes it's like glow in the dark. So it was like a huge rave going on while playing basketball. It was actually kind of cool. Nick didn't like it because his old man eyes couldn't handle it. But shout out!
Shots fired!
Oh yeah, shots fired. But me and Nam actually kind of dug it.
Okay.
And then I just got the new battle pass for Fortnite, so I'm probably gonna be playing some Fortnite. So if any of you viewers want to play some Fortnite, let's do it.
And you're not alone because there's crossplay.
Oh, I know, dude.
What?
Finally, dude. Oh, we just have to have a whole show on that.
Yeah, I'm hoping from your show, Area 44. Check it out as part of the in-game boss program. So yeah, you should definitely talk about it on your show.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you've been very, very voice.
Pretty vocal about that. I'm not gonna lie, which it needed to. This is why this is happening the first. I mean, not my voice, but like everyone as a whole, the gaming community has been pushing PlayStation. So they finally, and we talked about it numerous occasions, how we felt about it. So shout out to Bree. I think she tried it like actually on Xbox and PlayStation playing it, and she said it works great. So that's good to know. I still need to try it. I need to find some Xbox users to try that with.
Okay, awesome. So, as you know, this show is basically really simple. At the beginning of the show, I just ask you 2 questions, and then by the end of this show, we're going to answer those 2 questions. So, we're about to get ready to start the stage, and let's get into one of the segments that I want to talk about. We actually have 2 new segments. One, John doesn't know about. I'm about to surprise him with it, and then yeah, I'm ready to surprise you with it. But let's go ahead and do some news. So this is called News and Update. So we're going to bump this song real quick and let me get my paperwork. So let me get this going here. All right. So there's a lot of news, but we don't have time for that much because we got a lot of stuff to talk about today in this episode. Right, Johnny boy?
That's right.
And so speaking of that, let's go right into one of the things that people has been talking about. It's been a quick little community, and that is the power of Bowsette. Bowsette is taking over the internet like in the last couple of days, right? And for people that don't know what Bowsette is, this is basically Princess and Bowser put together. But what is the origins of that? Well, there's a game coming out for the Switch called Super Mario U Deluxe Edition, and one of the powers is that you get this crown, and there's a character that they added into the game called Toadette. Everybody knows Toadette. She's that pink mushroom with the the little pigtails and whatnot. If she grabs that, she actually becomes a princess-looking person named Peachette. And so basically now you have Princess Peach, Peachette now. But there is a theory of is Peach somehow was a mushroom? There's a theory. There's a conspiracy theory going on. But there is a rumor now that this one here, Bowser takes the crown for himself and he turns into Bowsette. So that's the origin of that. And there's been a giant community of it. People are making, fun jokes about it. Some people are making some very not funny ones about it. I'm pretty sure people seen pictures of them. But I posted on my thing that I would like that to be a thing. Not for that, just I think a Bowsette character should exist regardless, and not in that form. Like, I think Bowser should find his own girl, and she should be a villain. And I hope that, and I want her to look like Peach. Maybe red hair, maybe more like Daisy. maybe a different color, but more like one of those two characters, but make him Bowsette. But John, what is your thoughts on Bowsette?
Yeah, I saw this floating around the Twitterverse lately, and I didn't know exactly what it is. I saw a picture. So was the picture, I'm guessing it was just fan art? Like
yes.
People who, okay, so people.
DeviantArt, everybody. DeviantArt.
There you go. So yeah, I just saw the picture, and I mean, it looked like a cool character. I didn't know where it originated from. I think I was asking some folks, and based from what I heard, they were just saying it was, a community, something the community was wanting or something. I guess there was like a whole backstory behind it, and I kind of got lost in it. But yeah,
yeah,
I'm cool with it.
Yeah. But yeah, someone made up the backstory and they went on for this. DeviantArt is known for a lot of things. For one, Uganda Knuckles. If people haven't know that, is a weird looking drawing Knuckles that speaks kind of Uganda. So
okay.
and that's where they created. And then they also created the daughter of Robotnik. And the way they did that is if you play Sonic Mania, Dr. Robotnik's on a spider looking beast thing, and if you look at it, Bowser's upside down, but if you look closer, it looks like a little girl inside of it, and that's how she looks. So you think about it like there's a little girl with Robotnik's face upside down. That's what Robotnik's daughter would look like. So yeah, it's quite interesting, and so I'm not ruling out, but Bowsette. Nintendo, I don't know. Nintendo kind of, I think Nintendo sits back and just says, man, our community is weird sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of times they don't add that type of stuff though.
That's true.
So I guess it has to fit in their whole idea, storyline, what they think Mario and Bowser and that whole group is. But I mean, it would be cool if they listened to if this is something the fans are really wanting and they could like make a cool story out of it, then why not? Right.
And so, but that's it for that news. I'm pretty sure by now there's a lot of news I could discuss, but you already know that stuff. So I just wanted to talk about the one I really care about, and I wanted to talk about the Bowsette. News and updates. All right. So in-game boss program, this is where we talk about updates so you can hear what everything is going on. My goal is to get you guys to listen to all our other great shows on this program. So let's go ahead and start out with Gaming Halls of Rivalries. Part 2 will be coming out October 4th. Mark your calendar. Basically the first Thursday of October. And we'll be going at you first with Robotnik and Bowser. So be ready for that episode. That one's a really great episode. The Kings of Evil in the 90s. And their rivals in the console world. So, John, are you a Bowser or are you more of a Robotnik person, buddy?
Probably Bowser.
Yeah, me too. But Robotnik's really awesome too. Like, you'll find out some stuff. Like, for instance, did you know Robotnik has the highest IQ ever? Check that out. And how we compared it. We compared it to Stephen Hawking's and everything like that. So definitely come listen to that. So from there, we have Bond Never Dies. We are now wrapping up Bond Never Dies for the Roger Moore era, and that will be premiering on October 8th. So be ready for that as we go into the first one in Roger Moore's films, Live or Let Die. And if you haven't heard it, Area 44, Johnny over here, this guy over here, my mini boss.
That's me. Hello.
This guy. He has an episode that just came out. Basically, it's actually his 7th episode. Is that correct? Did we hit it right on the...
Dude.
Did you plan that?
I did not plan that. It was just the universe coming together and saying, this episode is going to be number 007. So, it was a great collaboration with Jeremy and Travis. It was fun.
And come listen to that show where we talk about the podcasts of that and our James Bond game. Sorry.
There you go.
Our dream game that we want.
You got there.
And there's I know, right? Need some water. So definitely check it out. It's a great episode. We all went crazy. We wanted to make it happen. I want it to happen. And we need to start pushing that out to somebody. Like, here, paperwork. Do it.
Paperwork. Yeah. Do it. That was actually a lot of fun. That was a good call.
Yeah. And so definitely check it out. It's out right now. Okay. So check it out. And then Area 44, our other great hip show going on, the most trend and, up to date on everything like that. And John, what do you go ahead and tell people, what's anything going on they need to know about your update?
Yeah, so definitely, we just finished that episode with collaboration of Bond Never Dies, so that was fun. Definitely go check that out on all the social media, all the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. We're there, and then we have some guests lined up here shortly. I'm not going to give those away right now, but we have some different people in the community that we want to get on the show, and yeah, just stay tuned in for that.
Awesome. So that's it for the news and update. Now, we're going to get into 2 segments real quick before we hit the main entree. I'm very excited for this. I called John out for this special occasion on the main one because, we are, I say we're fans, but we're not like hardcore fans because we haven't played a lot of their entries in their series.
Right.
And so, but we are fans, and so we'll get into that. But the first segment I like to call, and it's called I Just Can't Get Into It. And in this segment here is to talk about a game that I tried, and I gave it a try. I can't get into it. And the game I'm going to be talking about is a game that was free on PlayStation a while back, and I finally played a little bit.
Don't do this to me, Jeremy.
And this is Mafia 3.
Oh,
and so
that's not where I thought you were going. Awesome. Okay.
I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Destiny 2 was good. Mm-hmm. I beat that. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I got into it. I'm good.
Awesome.
Okay? Good. Just can't pay. I just don't want to pay for DLC. I have to get the other 2 to do it. So
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
so talk to me, Mafia 3.
Mafia 3. So I couldn't get into it, John. I just couldn't get into it. This game was sitting.
Were you pretty hyped about that game? Because I kind of was.
I was. I was because it was different.
Now I'm intrigued. I want to know more because I haven't played it. I have it sitting there in my library.
Yeah. So the game is set way back. I want to say during the Vietnam era. The main character just got back from the Vietnam War and all this stuff.
Right.
I honestly not really good at my history, but Vietnam, I think you kind of can put together. I don't need to specify that. So it's set in the Vietnam. After the Vietnam, he's coming back. He's back in Louisiana. Near the bayou and all that stuff. This made up, I think it's called Fortune City, I want to say it's called. And basically, you're this main character that's coming back and just trying to figure out what the next step he wants to do in his life. And he's planning to move out to California, I believe, but some family issues happen. He has to stay and figure this stuff out. So it's one of those stories where, I'm ready to move on, but something here is keeping me here.
Okay.
And I need to do this before I move on. And, and the game is also set up like a documentary, which is really cool. So, you'll do these events and stuff, and then when you're done, it'll cut to, a person talking like it's a documentary. So you're basically playing a story of your character going through, these past histories that are happening. So I really like that. But my issue with it was there was a lot of stuff that just kind of got on my nerves. For one, the reason why I didn't touch Mafia 3 was the fact you can't fast travel. And I was like, I
know you hate that.
Yeah, and I feel like that should be the norm of any game that's open world. That's just me. Unless, your town is not that big. And this town's not that big, but there is certain missions where you'll drive across town just to do this thing that takes 2 seconds. And then you have to drive all the way back to something else.
Yeah.
And that's kind of annoying. But how far did I get to this game? John, I only put 4 hours into this game. So,
wow.
I put 4.
Okay, so quick question about the driving real quick. Is there dialogue at least while you're driving? Or
yes, the dialogue was brilliant how they did it. Okay, so the cool part about the dialogue was when you're driving, and by the way, if your car tips over at any point, you basically lost. And you basically have to start all over. It happened to me. So what happened was I was driving from after killing these 2 people, and me and him were driving this giant safe van, and we're driving through the city and everything. By the way, this is just for this moment, but in the game, you have to be careful the way you drive because if cops see you and they see you break a law, they will chase you down. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to set the tone of what that world's like. So racism is a big thing at that time. So people are going to look at you different. So a cop, you black, driving, suspicious, they might do it. But it's not on the spot. Okay? So don't be upset. If you run a red light, it's not the big deal. It's more of if you keep making errors over and over and over, then they'll get suspicious. So like if you run a red light, then you hit 2 cars after that, then they're gonna say something to you. Gotcha. Okay, all right. So that's good. Okay, so anyways, so I was driving down, and this was nighttime, and I took a wrong turn. My thing tipped over, and it said basically game over. And the cool part about it was the documentary people, they'll go to a clip where like, no, that's not how the story goes. Let's start over again. And so you'll start all the way back to the beginning, and you'll redo that whole thing again, which is not a big deal, but I hate it at the same time. Now, when it comes to dialogue while they're having a conversation, is if you run into a car, that person will stop and acknowledge what you did, and then you'll go right back to the dialogue. But it's really cool how they did it. So like, John, you and me can be driving like, so yeah, we're having fun, man. I talked to this girl, she was really cool. It's like, yo, man, watch out. Okay, now where was I? Okay, so anyways, so
I like that. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So I was like, that was a really good idea. So they're basically interacting, what you're doing. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
so,
I like that.
So what was the problem? That wasn't the problem to me. The problem was the gameplay, John. It wasn't the car. It was on the foot shooting gameplay. And it was very, very old felt. It felt old.
Okay.
Like
the shooting mechanics or like melee or both?
It just felt very
like clunky?
old clunky. It just felt like this is the first time they ever did a game like this before. It felt like something from Mafia 2 to me.
Okay.
And so like it was to a point where like I was going to hunt down these guys at this bayou, and I had to go in and infiltrate and sneak my way around. Mm-hmm. And the sneaking is very weak to me. And then when I hide and stuff like that, they didn't have it where the melee made very good flow to it. I guess per se, like, I can hug the wall, but I couldn't hug the wall and go to another wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
And I feel like that's where we should be at right now. Okay. Not like I hug this wall, okay, I have to get up and find another wall and hug myself to it. I feel like if there's a wall and there's another wall, I should be able to just kind of like creep over to the next one. I mean, Gears of War did it, Tomb Raider did it. I just feel like that we should have done this. When it comes to the shooting mechanics, it's not that strong. It's kind of weak.
Okay.
I feel like that your enemies are a little bit too strong for you. I'm playing this on normal. And I'm pretty good at those games, but it just felt kind of weak to me. Mm-hmm. And I also felt like that their hit points hit harder than you did.
Okay.
And so I just couldn't get into it. And I just felt like that the steps that they had could have been improved a little bit better to me. That's just me into it.
So it sounds like just overall, the actual feel of the gameplay just wasn't clicking with you. Like it just Okay.
I just felt like that. It just felt like that they just began learning this instead of like used to doing it.
Right. And that could be frustrating too, because this is like, okay, this is the third game in the series. Like some of this stuff should have been polished before.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, I can feel that.
And then also on the whole concept of you're in this open world, but there's not really nothing to do.
See, that's what worries me.
And so
like if there's just a big playground, but there's nothing to actually play with. It's like,
yeah. And the bad part about this is they had some good ideas, but then it makes me go back and think of the questions of like, why didn't this thing get in then? Like later on, you'll I didn't get this far. I just read about it, but you'll start owning parts of the city, and you'll have people lead the city. Like you'll have somebody, hey, you got people working under you to work the cities and stuff, and they'll give you different perks. Like some guy, anytime you need a car, they'll bring you a car.
Oh, I
anywhere
remember
you
reading
want.
Up on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, you can bring me a car, but you don't have someone to maybe pick me up and take me where I need to go as fast travel. And so I don't know, John. I recommend playing it, and then personally come talk to me. Say, Jeremy, maybe this is it.
Okay. Yeah. Because now I want to play it just to see just to maybe counterpoint if there's something. Well, maybe you should have tried, or like I don't know. I'm really curious now to play this game. It just felt really old.
Okay. Like the game mechanic just felt really old to me, and
gotcha.
and I just wasn't feeling the shooting. Like the shooting didn't make me feel good. You know what I mean?
And I'll be able to tell right away, just because, like you mentioned earlier, I love first-person shooters. So if I'll be able to tell right away if it's like, okay, yeah, this isn't right. Something's not right here.
Right. It's kind of like, I need to talk to you one day about the black thing, because like I never really got your whole story why you didn't like black.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't remember it. That was so long ago.
I feel like they remastered that, bring it on there. I need you to play it and then see if you got that bug again. And like, John, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
It's the same build they did Burnout. So that's my segment of, I really couldn't get into it. If you have any listeners that maybe feel the same way, definitely email me at the in-game office at gmail.com. Yeah, in-game-office at gmail.com, or talk to me on Facebook or on Twitter. Tell me how you feel about it. I just couldn't get into it. Mm-hmm. I gave it a try. And I just, I gave it 4 hours and just try to sit there. And let me tell you this. I replayed this level 6 times. I kept dying.
Yeah, that right there would have frustrated me.
6 times because I just didn't understand what's going on. And another thing too is you don't know how big your area is, because like I'll be shooting and the enemies just keep coming and coming and coming. And I'm like, is there any more?
Where's this clown car these people keep coming out of?
Right. And also too, the blind fire is not really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. See what your opinion is. There's a reason why this game it got 6s.
Yeah.
And so
it didn't get good scores. Yeah.
And it had a lot of money put into it. So that's the end of I couldn't really get into it. And
womp.
Yeah. So next segment is a segment that this is an important segment to me, because this is a segment that needs to be talked about, and why this needs to be talked about. And this is called Baby Come Back. Baby Come Back. Yeah. I love that song. I love that song. Yes. So what's Baby Coming Back? We're going to talk about game. I want to talk about a game, just one. In this segment, I talk about one game that I feel like it needs to come back, and why there is no excuse. It should come back. People miss it. People want it. I think it deserves something. So let's talk about a story by Sega. And I think John already knows where I'm going with this. So Sega. Sega is one of the most well-known publishers, probably the top 5 most well-known. They've been there since the War of Consoles, and now they are a third party, and they are actually doing really well right now. Like the Yakuza series, Sonic series, it's kind of getting a little bit better on the Sonic series. Shenmue is coming back on stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming back, and not just Sega, but a lot of games. John, I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of old retro games coming back on the surface. Grandia 1 and 2 are coming back for some reason.
For some reason.
No, I like Grandia 1 and 2. I love those games.
No, it was just funny the way you said that.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. They're back. And I guess people asked for it. I didn't know people asked for it. Because like Grandia 2 just recently last year came on the PC. But now they're coming on the Switch. And so you got that coming back. Shenmue 1 and 2 came back in an HD after their Kickstarter thing. That's pretty awesome, right? Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles are coming back. I don't know who asked for that. But
I didn't ask for it, but I might pick that one up because I never played that one. I always wanted to, but you had to have like a bunch of DSs and yeah,
right.
So if they make this like just easy on the Switch, then I actually might get it. So,
but like I just noticed a lot of games from the old library are now resurfacing back, and there is new ways, and people have the money for it, and I always go into my head like, well, why are these games not coming back? I know these games didn't sell well, but there's a lot of games that are coming back that didn't sell well. Shenmue did not sell well. It didn't.
Yeah, you're right.
It took 5 to 6 years for people to beg for that game. Beg. It was the most expensive game in 2001. It was one of the most expensive games of 2001 for Shenmue. Over $1 million. $1 million for the first game. And then got a sequel for the Xbox. And now he gets a third one doing a Kickstarter. That's how big the fan base was, John. and I know it because we were fans of that.
Oh, yeah.
And we know it didn't sell well. We thought like this story's never gonna come to an end.
Right.
This is not gonna happen. And then Shenmue 3 got announced at the Sega conference, and then we were talking about, okay, that's cool, Shenmue 3, but what about the people that didn't play the first two? What are they gonna do? You can't just go into 3 and not know what happened in the other two. Are you gonna do a recap video of it? Like, what are you gonna do with that? And so here it is, 1 and 2 HD coming back for the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And people are loving it. Mm-hmm. So where am I getting at with this? Okay. There is no excuse now because Valkyria Chronicles came out. The fourth one. A game that the first one came out for the PlayStation 2, I think. No. Yeah. PlayStation 2. I want to say. Or PlayStation. No, it was PlayStation 3. I lied. PlayStation 3. The second one only came out for PSP.
Oh.
Only.
Okay.
The third one never came over here to the Western. And then we're getting this fourth one. You would think that, okay, this is coming to an end. But no, we have a fourth one, John. And the reason I bring this up, because the same developers that made Valkyria Chronicles have made Skies of Arcadia. Why is that not here yet? Skies of Arcadia has been gone for more than 10 years. 10 years, and it did not sell well. It was a port on the GameCube, but it was a canceled game for the PS2. Wasn't making any money. But to this time, we get a Shenmue, a game that costs 10 times probably more than this guy could ever reach. It's not even getting a remaster game right now, at least. We're not even getting an HD remastered yet. Sega has the money to do it. We see this now. Their parent, Atlas is a parent under Sega. They have money. And the question is, why are we not seeing Skies of Arcadia finally premiere? And I'm not saying this because Skies of Arcadia is my favorite RPG game of all time, but this is a game that is a lost gem, and nowadays a lot of lost gem games are now coming back up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Star Ocean's coming back up. Star Ocean's not really that good of a series. Hit me up if you disagree with me. But anyways, even Renaissance of Faith, a game on the PS3 by Tri-A, Sega published. It was a shooter RPG style game, and that game did not sell well. But now it's coming back this year, 4K for PC. But yet we're not getting Skies of Arcadia remastered. We're not getting a developer that's coming in to do something. We're not getting these people to do something. Skies of Arcadia has a huge following. Mm-hmm. It does. And it has a sequel that was in the making, but then the area got split off. Overworks, the company, the developers made it, were split off, and they ended up doing a bunch of other stuff. But Valkyria Chronicles, the same people. By the way, the Skies of Arcadia characters are in Valkyria Chronicles in that game, but it's not Skies of Arcadia. And Skies of Arcadia, to me,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can be Vase, Aka, and Fina in that game.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And no, they don't have the backstories of pirates. They're just soldiers in the game.
They're just, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They're just soldiers in the game. They're not like, we're pirates and we happen to come by. No, it's not like them.
Gotcha.
This game deserves to come back. And I think a lot of people miss it. And I think it deserves an attention on all consoles, a remastered, 60 frames per second, all this stuff. I think it's time for it. If we're all these games, Final Fantasy VII is getting. I know Final Fantasy did really well. It did tremendously well. But 8 and 9, they're getting the treatment too. But Sega, what is your story? You keep making bad Sonic games, but Skies of Arcadia is a game that, yes, it didn't sell well, but it got great reviews. It is well known. Is in the top hundreds. It is what people say is the lost Final Fantasy game that people have been waiting for. But we're not getting it. John,
man,
how do you feel about that?
I know you're very strong about that subject. Now, Skies of Arcadia, I'm going to have to agree. Like, I would rather see that remastered than some of these other games. Like Resonance of Fate, I've seen it, but I never heard anything about it, really. Nothing made me want to pick up that game and play it. Now, if you were to make a Skies of Arcadia, then man, I'd be getting that, just because the cool thing about Skies of Arcadia, and did that come out on the Dreamcast first?
It did.
Okay, mm-hmm. and then they ported it over to the GameCube. Now, is the GameCube that much better, that version, or?
Yeah, it's more of a definitive version in that spec, because the fact that they added more stuff to it. They added a bounty list. They added all this stuff. And for people to wrap it up, Skies of Arcadia is basically a story about sky pirates. That's all it is. Going on this adventure to save the world from destruction from these giant things that destroyed the world before.
Right. Now,
and that's basically what it is.
And the battle system was one thing that was really good in that game.
Yes.
Now, as far as the battle system, when they're like, it actually looked like a fight. You have some of these RPG games where they're just, okay, you have your characters standing in a line, just sitting back there, and then the boss, and they're just looking at each other. To where Skies of Arcadia, it actually, they wouldn't be doing damage, but they would still be like fighting and hitting each other, and it looked like you were just in this big battle. And it made it more, I guess, not interactive, but it made you feel like the world was more alive, and that
yes.
And so the battle system in that game was just tremendous. I loved it.
Yeah, and at the time, the battle system was really cool, where you share one pot of points, and you use those points together to defeat the enemies that are on your screen. There's a huge magic system. Depending on the color of your weapon, will advance you the better magic, and your other people can help you out with magic back and forth. And it was just, at the time, at the Dreamcast era, it was one of the best looking games that you ever seen in an RPG.
Yeah,
and the colors were so beautiful.
I would have to agree. Even like the weapons themselves, like you can they were kind of like see-through swords almost. Those are really cool.
Yeah. And so, but that's my bit on, baby, come back. Skies Arcadia, come back. We want you. Baby, we want you to come. We want you to come back. We want you to be with us. Let's take a break. Sega, let's take a break, and let's talk. When we come back, we're going to talk about Telltales. What happened to them? That's a series that probably not going to come back. We'll be right back. Hey listeners, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm your host, Jeremy Evans, aka your in-game boss. And I want to let you know that this is not the only show you can listen to. We got great shows like the In-Game Boss Podcast, the Game of Halls of Rivalries, Bond Never Dies, and Area 44, and more to come. So if you enjoyed this show, make sure you follow and subscribe to the network so you're always updated with the newest episodes and update on any other news that happens in the In-Game Boss program. So, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey everyone, my name is John, also known as J Robles 44, and I am the host of the Area 44 podcast. On Area 44, our goal is to create a hangout atmosphere where gamers come to talk about all things video games. If you want to know more about the podcast, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook by searching Area 44 Pod on both platforms. You can also email us at area44pod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
And welcome back to the In-Game Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Evans, with my mini boss, John Robles.
Hey.
So you're finally at the kind of towards the end of the stage, but you got to fight us to get through, right? So let's go down to my lair real quick, down to my little office. And, this is the office where, I plan all my stuff, plan my shows and everything. But this is where, I do all my paperwork and get ready to talk about the main segment. TellTale Studios. You remember them. They're known for, great games as The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, the Batman series of their own way, Guardians of the Galaxy, Minecraft, Game of Thrones. But they did stuff older than that. They did Back to the Future.
Yeah,
they did Back to the Future. So, but Telltale's, as announced to this time, has shut their doors. The story is that one of the people that helped, keep them going, Liongate, has decided to drop them. So they have really no source. That's basically what it was. So it kind of comes to the question, like, Telltale was making money, but they weren't making enough to keep their own ship going. They needed someone else to kind of sponsor them to keep them going. Does that sound about right, Johnny boy?
Yeah, I think you hit all the details there.
Okay. And so, but there, Telltale's, they only been around, John, I think about maybe 15 years, I want to say, give or take.
That's still pretty long for a video game company.
Yeah. But it's funny. It wasn't until Walking Dead is where they got their shine.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No one really knew who they were before that.
Yeah, they were strictly PC only.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started kind of working into the console world and doing the Walking Dead and everything. And I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, Walking Dead was their first entry to the TellTale series of knowing them. And so I know it was yours and mine.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
But what was my question is, what was TellTale's all about? Like, what was so cool about them?
Mm-hmm.
John, let's start with you. What made TellTale so cool about them?
For me, I think the cool thing was just you had a really good story. So they're really good at storytelling, and they're not just good at storytelling like to where it's like on rails. So this is going to happen to every player that plays our game. They're going to go through this same story. No, they have different like consequences and different options that you can choose from. And as a player, that's really cool, given the option to do anything. So I might play more of I'm nice to everyone, or I'm trying to, get our group back together, or, just be a team player basically, instead of maybe someone else just likes, to be like the head honcho and he's going to give orders and do this and that. And so it lets you play kind of the way you want to play. And it reminds me of books back in the day that I used to read, where it was like interactive books, I guess is what I don't know what.
Like Choose Your Own Adventures?
Yeah, Choose Your Own Adventures. So those are really cool because I remember reading those back in the day. And so it's like, if you choose this option, turn to page 52. But if you choose this option, then go to page 30. And it was really cool seeing that come to life in a video game format. And I think that's why they just clicked with me right away when I played that first season of Walking Dead.
One thing was really different. And what's different about it to me was the fact that like these were episodic, and that was something I never ever dealt with before, because like when I first heard about it, they're only doing like, they're going by seasons and there's 4 episodes for like each season. It was more of, I want to say it was kind of like a way you would watch a television show. You have to wait till next week to see what happens next. Mm-hmm. But like here, it was like many months down the road, right? And, before the episode 2. And so, like, you're probably like me, John. We kind of sat back and wait for the whole season to end.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you felt about that. But yeah. We kind of waited till give me the whole story, and I'm just going to binge play this.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that was a little bit different to me. And I think that they took that ship, and a lot of people borrow that now. A lot of people are now doing episodic stuff too, in their own way. But like TellTale's, like you said, it was good. But what made it interesting was not only you had choices, but you only had a limited time to make a choice. You couldn't sit there and just pause the game and wobble like, what would I do? It was more like, dude, you got 5 seconds. Hurry up.
That's true. Yeah, that really made it unique, because in any other RPG or something, you have a choice, and if you're going for like certain trophies, you'll go Google it at that time, like, okay, which choice I make. No, this one's like, okay, you got 5 seconds, and it's do or die. What are you gonna do? And it was just like that sense of urgency just made the game come alive, and like you were actually in the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also on top of that, it was good because the fact that like they try to use that realism, where like, look, if you were there in real time, you don't have choices. You got to be quick. Mm-hmm. And you can choose to do nothing and let the faith run its course. And mostly ends up bad, but really let it run its course.
Oh, those were just like the ... You just kind of look at the
person. Yeah. Makes me wonder, like, if you play through a game without just saying nothing, just to see what people would, like, how would it end, right? And then, like John said, you have a good ending, bad ending, a neutral ending per se, and all this stuff. So that was basically the formula of TellTale's games. Really good dialogue, really good decisions, and basically they try to put you in a decision where you had to make the toughest call, and you feel bad either way. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had some choices I felt good, but at the same time I felt like, oh, I knew I should have went back and did this way. Not, I'll do it next time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but with that, one of the games out of all of them where my favorite series was Wolf Among Us. And I remember I had John come over at my old apartment, and I said, John, I'm going to let you play this game. And John played it, and like, I think you didn't want to leave that night. You're like, I kind of want to beat this story.
Yeah, dude. Wolf Among Us really just just the story behind it, like as far as what is it called? The fairy tale? Like the whole fairy tale storyline. I was just captivated by it. I wanted to beat it right there and then.
Yeah, and that's my favorite out of all of them. Walking Dead was good, but Wolf Among Us was just something totally different. You just never had a story in a game like that based on a comic.
Right.
And so I was very excited for that. But that's really normally where it stopped. I have the Batman one, but I haven't started it.
I know Nam played the Batman one. He really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So you have it, but you haven't played it?
Yeah, I don't have season 2, but I have season 1.
Did you play? I played Tales of the Borderlands, and that one was really
I did.
Good.
I did play. Yeah, that was a good one. It was funny because that was supposed to be a game that was supposed to be a joke, and they actually made it happen, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that game, yeah, it was good because it was a story in between the first Borderlands and it was after Borderlands 2. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was after Borderlands 2. And so, and the choices were there. It was just so funny. There was a lot of funny moments. There were some characters I really care about and all that stuff. But, so Telltale's it was a unique place a unique studio that did some stuff, but they did have some issues. They had some bug issues. There were some bug issues with that. They kept rolling their old engine. They were never improving their engine. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff. But we'll move that on to the second half of the second question. But let's get to the closure. So they closed as I speak, I think now about maybe 2 weeks ago now. And I want to say give or take. But one of the biggest news is that there was a class action lawsuit. And it was for the breaking labor laws. And a former employee is filing charges against them because they didn't get a 30-day or a 60-day notice.
60-day, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get a 60-day notice that this was happening, that they were going to lose their jobs. And the fact that like they owed them back pay for a bunch of stuff. And it's sad. And I don't know how to feel for that person that helped created that. Then the studio gets shut down. Then you're getting sued on top of that.
Yeah.
I can't. My heart goes out to the head person that like, man, it's already bad enough I had to lay off 50 people because there are only 25 people left there, and they're just there to finish up the Walking Dead, and then they're done. Mm-hmm. And so, but like John. How do you feel about the studio being shut down in general? Did that sadden you? Did you kind of see it coming?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely saddens me. I mean, growing up as a gamer all my life, I even though through the bad games, I never want a studio to close down. I just want them to get better, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I never want people to lose their jobs over this. And to me, it's crazy because this is gonna help this, I guess, from happening again, just because this is the video game industry. If you don't know how the video game industry works, it's not like any other job. Once you're done with a game, that might be it. Unless there's DLC coming out, those people that have been working tirelessly on the game, and they're working, I don't know how many hours, trying to fix these bug fixes and trying to reach a release date that they scheduled, and they're working a bunch of hours, and then as soon as that game's done, or if it's not making money, they're out of a job, and they either have to go find another game company that's willing to let them come on board for something they're doing. So it's a really hard industry. So that's why I know a lot of people whine about little stuff in video games, but it's a hard industry, and it really does sadden me because Telltale's, there's not really any other video game industries or I guess developers publishing doing this type of style. I'm pretty sure more are gonna start now that Telltale's kind of almost done with they're still trying to finish up. But they're still trying to finish up The Walking Dead, and I hope they do. I hope they get some backers or somebody else that can work with them to finish it out, because the fans, and this is what hurts me as a fan of The Walking Dead, I want to see an ending to this story. Like I don't want it just end, with episode 2 and there's no closure. It's like I want closure on this game, and it's not. I don't want that more than these. I don't care about the game itself more than I care about these people losing their jobs. That comes first and foremost in my heart or my head. It's like, I wish these people weren't out of a job. They worked very hard on, all these games. And I know even for them, I bet they want to finish it. Like, this is something they work really hard on, and stories that have developed over the years, and they want to finish it just as much as us gamers want to play it. So that's kind of where my heart is with that whole situation.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, it would have been, you would think by now that someone out there would pick them up, like a publisher, and buy them. Hey, Microsoft, looking at you, buddy. So
that'd be a good pickup, Microsoft.
Yeah. So like, TellTale deserves to be picked up by somebody so they can keep this going, because there is some stuff over there that they could have been improved, but money's probably tight on them. Like, don't forget, these episodic episodes were months away, so you can tell that maybe they didn't have a lot of money to work on a brand new engine for these games and stuff like that, because they're the money has to be spread out to the employees and all this stuff. And so hopefully these people that are out of a job get picked up from another studio, and hopefully they move on. Because like John said, these people are basically game for hire. It's hard to get a permanent job at a studio.
And that's the thing. They're not like full-time employees. They're basically They're on contracts. And that's not guaranteed health benefits or pay, and so that's a hard life to live.
Mm-hmm. It's an ugly world out there in the gaming world, because every kid when they were little, if you love video games so much, you're like, I want to make a video game. And then when you get older and you find out the backstory behind all this stuff, it makes you kind of really second guess. Do you really want to determine to do this, or you think this is not me? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I mean, I would love to be the person to come up with video game ideas and stuff like that, but I can't do this. Hope for the next big thing to come. Not like that. I don't know about you, John. Could you handle that?
In the situation I'm at now with wife and kid, man, I don't think I could handle that right now. Maybe earlier in life I could have, and
So single mode,
maybe,
yes.
Yeah, maybe single
not co-op
mode, but not co-op. Unless they were in the gaming industry as well. But
yeah. So let's go into our second question. What could have they done to keep going? So like, I like to look at the studio when the studio gets shut down. I like to sit back and kind of just analyze. It's like, what do I think honestly they could have done? Was it just anything they could have done, just nothing would help them, or there would have been some better ideas, or maybe it was hopeless? But in this situation, I don't think there was hopeless. I think there was some stuff in there, to me, that they could have done better. And I think my number one is the selection of games they wanted to do their story based on. I think there were some series in there that I think they could have used for something else to get more appealing. So let's get this out of the way. Wolf Among Us was a phenomenal game, and a lot of people asked for that, and then we're getting announced now, but we could have had that earlier, but we got wasted by Game of Thrones, we got wasted by Minecraft, we got wasted by
Guardians of the
Galaxy, a side story in The Walking Dead instead of another entry in The Walking Dead at the time.
Yeah, the Michonne series.
Yeah, and I feel like that these decisions that you guys decided to make, to me, was not a good idea. You should have stuck with something that made you guys unique, or work with someone else's, other people's properties. You know what I mean? Like maybe you could have done an Assassin's Creed TellTale story. I'm just throwing it out there, or you could have done something else with other people's property. Heck, a Mass Effect TellTales, or a Halo, a Metroid, or Mario. To me, there was better properties to help you gain more into it. But we used it on, Game of Thrones, which Game of Thrones doesn't really need their own thing. Game of Thrones is making that Game of Thrones money. They don't really need, to me, a TellTale story. Minecraft is making enough money. Okay, granted. I take that back. Minecraft was a good exception. I will take back what I said.
Yeah, I was going to say Minecraft was good just because they didn't really have a story. So
I will give you that.
Unlike what you said about Game of Thrones, it's already an episodic TV show. So
yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't need it. You don't need to do a Batman one. I would have picked something else better than that. I think there was a ton of other games and other ideas, and you should have stuck with maybe the comics and gaming, not movies or a real life TV show. John, well, what do you think are some of the things they should have done better?
Well, just to go off what you're saying, and it could have been maybe they were looking at some of those properties, but as far as money, some of those could have been even worse than what the offers that they were taking. So yeah, I mean that could have been an issue. Maybe Game of Thrones, they didn't have to pay as much money to have these characters in a video game. As far as like getting copyrights and all that jazz. One thing that and we kind of mentioned why TellTale's is unique, and that's their episodic series. And maybe that was something that kind of maybe hurt them in the long run, to where people are having to wait months for a new season to come out. To where maybe if you just completely finished, like still kept it in episodes, I guess, but have wait for the whole package to come out and just sell it for like a regular $60 game. Instead of just kind of, some people, like for me, it's hard. I don't remember what I played in, say I played the first season of Walking Dead, and then months later, season 2 comes. I know they give you kind of like a recap, but it's kind of hard. It's like, okay, I need to get back into this story or back into this atmosphere, instead of where it was just a full-fledged out. And that's why I waited, to where that's what I would recommend doing. If you I mean, you can still buy these Telltale games, and I recommend you doing so, is to play them in their fullest, not waiting until months down the road. And maybe it was a story issue, to where this final season of Walking Dead, maybe they didn't know what they were doing. They kind of just had to wait and let things stir in the pot, and then finally they narrowed down a story narrative that was a good conclusion. But maybe the whole episodic thing was something that hurt them. Maybe people just fell off and just stopped playing instead of finishing the whole series.
So you want to say the gamers themselves maybe dropped ship too, that hurt them because of the waiting?
Yeah, I think that could have played a part in it.
I think the engine is an issue too.
Okay.
They use the same engine in all their games, and I feel like that they had many hiccups and bugs. I never had that issue, but I have seen them, and I just felt like that the money you guys could have helped improve your engine. Maybe you guys could have produced a better games, because some of the games look good, and then some of the games look like it could look better, and and I felt like that maybe you could have just working on a better engine while you're doing this. And like you said, the whole like all in one season thing, maybe once a week, once a month would have been a better flow than one every 6 months.
And maybe it maybe still kept that episodic, but keep it just more recent, more in people's mind about what they played a month ago instead of 6 months before. Yeah, I can agree with that.
And then, like, for me personally, I want to say is, I think that it got repetitive. In a way, all the games had the same choice style thing. Either do something good, either bad. There wasn't anything new, fresh to flip you on your head. Like, oh, well, this Walking Dead is totally different than The Wolf Among Us, other than story. Like, man, the choices or something just brand new in this one they did that Walking Dead doesn't have.
Right.
I just felt like that there wasn't enough unique to it. It felt like, you played one, you play them all when it came to the mechanics. So you really played them for more story. And yes, you made choices and made tough choices and stuff like that. But I guess maybe it would have been good for more fresher ideas. And yes, they had quick time events too. But I think there was just something else that just needed to be fresh, because it just felt like you were just, it just, I don't know. It felt like it just ran its course.
Right. Oh, go ahead. Finish up.
And I was going to say, like, if they ended up doing something more to make an evolution of the game. Yes, we have these story-driven and choices, but maybe you guys should have worked on more gameplay and then put more choices in there. I didn't see a lot of evolve going into these series. I just felt like it was just the same one. Pick your favorite and go.
Okay.
And so.
And I kind of feel, as far as, I think they were trying to get a new engine. And that's probably kind of what you said. Maybe that did hurt them in the long run, to where they doubled down on story. They they looked at their demographic and saw, hey, our people don't play this for the game mechanics. They're playing it for the story. So maybe they doubled down on story, and that's why you had once Walking Dead got big, it felt like Telltale's was coming out with a new series like every few months, like just back to back to back to back to back, to where they were just sticking on the same engine because they knew they could just diss out different stories. And so I kind of feel like they doubled down on that instead of working on the gameplay mechanics and the engine, and maybe that like kind of what you said hurt them.
And then also you can take this into consideration. Why I brought that up is because of now they opened that door, everybody's starting to do it. Life is Strange started doing it. That was a series that started doing it, and it had a little bit better engine, but it had a little bit more flair to their stories and everything like that. And I think that Telltale's needed to try some way to stay on top. And I feel like Life is Strange kind of changed that formula a little bit on the choices that they make. Like at least Life is Strange, they give you more stuff to explore in their world. Telltale's was more of, you have this section, okay, do what you want in this section. You know what I mean? And so I felt like Life is Strange had a bigger environment, and I felt like that Telltale should have started going a little bit more of that direction in that kind of way. And I feel like that, everybody now is doing choice decisions in their own way, an episodic kind of style. And I felt like Telltale's either they need to do something new, or they were just going to start, running out of gas soon.
Yeah.
But so John, off the top of your head, man, what games or series or what do you wish Telltale's would have touched?
Ooh.
Have you ever sat there and thought about that?
No, but just off the top of my head, I'm thinking for some reason Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that would have been great.
I think that would have been really cool, actually.
That'd have been
and
wonderful.
I'm just a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, but that art style that they have, I just think the turtles fit really well in that type of art style. So
yeah, and that's another thing too. All the art was kind of looking very similar.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. It kind of had that comic book feel, and
and I wish they would. That's another thing too. Maybe they had better. That's what I meant for like more evolution, I guess. Like each game need to feel different. Not feel like it looks like the same thing but the different skin on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like
I
wish you guys were more arts. Like I think a Legend of Zelda would have been a good one. You're the silent protagonist, but like you're knowing the world of characters, and plus you get to make decisions how you want the fate of the world to go. I thought Legend of Zelda would have been a great one to do if Nintendo would let them touch their properties.
Yeah, and that's the problem probably right there.
And so Final Fantasy, I know they could do a Final Fantasy. This is like a Telltale Final Fantasy story of its own. I mean, I think that would have been awesome. A James Bond.
Ooh, James Bond would have been good.
Yeah, James Bond Telltale one would have been a great one. I mean, I'm not trying to promote your other episode, but I mean, James Bond. I mean, that would have been a great one to me. I think that would have been a phenomenal one. And plus, if I were to do something like Game of Thrones, honest to tell you the truth, man, I mean, a Star Wars or a Lord of the Rings would have been a phenomenal one, better than Game of Thrones to me.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, Game of Thrones was hot at the time, so maybe they saw an opportunity to jump in.
You're right.
And that's what
you're
happened.
you're absolutely right. But yeah, those are some of the series I would have loved to see. Hell, even like Street Fighter. I don't know. Like they could have just done something that threw me off the edge. Like, I'm intrigued. Let's see where this goes. Because like, what can you do that I don't know? You could probably done something that made different. And so, I mean, you made Walking Dead something, and I never read the comic or watched the show until after I played that game. But that's another thing too. Like, I like how The Walking Dead was its own thing and not connected to that.
Right.
I like how, Minecraft was not like Minecraft, And so...
Well, that's like the brilliance of how good their story writing was, is making it its own thing.
So, John, if you were to pick a publisher that should just pick up Telltale's right now, like, there's still money in here and we can help them out and we can evolve this studio and do a lot more stuff, who do you think would be the candidate for them?
Man, well, I think, like you said, Microsoft, as far as just a company picking out, but who is it that makes the Life is Strange series? Yeah.
Square Enix.
That's Square Enix?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Square Enix.
From what I played from Life is Strange, they had some really good story elements in like just the way like the character was. I thought that it was a really good character, and like they just knew like when to put in the right music at the right time too. That just really made you feel a part of the story, and actually gave you emotion while playing that type of game. So yeah, if Square Enix is that, maybe they should pick it up.
Because the people that made the Life is Strange is a studio named Don't Nod.
That's what it is. Don't Nod. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that would have been the Square Enix would be. Yeah, they would be a good studio for them. Tell you the truth, man, I think this would have been something Nintendo could have got. Like, I don't know why. There's a lot of properties Nintendo has that Telltales could use that like they don't use. Like there's characters like a Fire Emblem, Telltale's.
Oh yeah.
That would have been amazing. A Kid Icarus. Like, there's a lot of characters in there that are not going to probably get used because they don't sell well, but this is their chance to tell those to dig into that archive and, like, let's do a story out of this character. We haven't heard from that in a while. Let's see that one.
And I'm just off of Nintendo. Is Nintendo good at storytelling?
They're pretty good. I mean, if we're talking about heavy storytelling, no.
Yeah, I'm talking about heavy story, like not just like your Mario gonna go save Prince Peach, but like actual story.
Well, you got Fire Emblem. That's probably as heavy you get.
Actually, that's pretty heavy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's probably it from them. I mean, Zelda is kind of like a light heavy. That don't even make any sense. That's an oxymoron. Zelda has a story, but it's very light. It's more of like, here's the light story, but we don't want to put this big burden on you.
Yeah, they kind of just leave it open ended, and that's why I'm saying like heavy story. Like they need some
Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some there, but it's less than often, right?
Right.
And so Telltales could do something and make it a heavy story. Give these characters some backstories. Like I said, like there's not a lot of properties, but you're not going to hear about them because one, they're behind, in the back burners. Earthbound, a Telltale Earthbound would be pretty remarkable.
A lot of people would actually get that just because they've been waiting for,
Right.
What is it, Mother 2 or?
Yeah. For the U.S., it's Earthbound, but yeah, you're right. It's Mother 2.
Yeah.
And Mother 3 ain't coming anytime soon. But Telltale's, I think Nintendo would have been a good place for them to pick them up. And so, but that's it for the In-Game Boss podcast. I want to thank everybody for coming and listening. I want to thank my mini boss. Thanks for holding down the gate.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
So
just to not leave it on a sad note, I just for all those people that worked on Telltales, I hope all of y'all find a job somewhere in the gaming industry. And,
of course,
can't wait to see what y'all have next. So yeah,
of course, if I had money, I would open my doors, but man, I don't have that. I don't have that money.
Same here, and I'm sure they tried everything they could. So,
but those games are not going away. So show your support and buy a copy of those games. Give Wolf Among Us a try. I know you're never going to see a second one, but at least try the first one out. See if you like it. Walking Dead, I mean, if they end up finishing it, I recommend doing the whole series then.
I agree.
Those are my top two I would pick. But if you're a fan of Borderlands, definitely pick up Borderlands. I mean, I don't even think you really have to play the main game to know what's going on. I think it sits on its own.
Not at all. It's its own story, and a lot of fans or a lot of people that didn't get into the Borderlands series love Tales from the Borderlands. So, yeah.
So, definitely check that out. John, once again, thank you so much. And definitely check out Area 44. That's part of the In-Game Boss program, a podcast program of variety. Well, actually, it's a network of varieties and other video game stuff. And we have shows like the Game Halls of Rivalries. We have The Bond Never Dies. And, of course, Area 44, where you can find all this stuff on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube. And we're hopefully we're developing and evolving our studios even more. I'm hoping John will get a webcam soon, and we can start evolving even more, get his show bigger and better.
Definitely.
And so we can see each other's faces.
Oh, yeah.
If you end up doing a voice recording stuff and you need somewhere to chat, Discord is a pretty good program. That's what we're doing right now for our recording. It actually did really well for us. I really like that.
I like it too.
but with that, any other questions or anything, definitely visit us on Twitter, on Facebook, and any question and comments, leave them on on the YouTube page. Leave notes, leave us 5-star rating. Let us know how we're doing. We're doing good, we're doing bad. Am I a good boss or a bad boss? I'm hoping I'm a bad boss, because that's what an in-game boss is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a bad guy. But
you're doing a good
definitely
job.
Thank you. Don't give John a support. I feel like that comment could be going both ways, John. Anyways, so
You can't see my face, so you can.
I know, right? Right. But definitely check out John's Area 44. It's a wonderful show. I am a co-host on there. John got a lot of great stuff coming up soon. There's new shows coming in. I'm doing a collaboration show with Blacken Studios. Definitely check out their new episode, AOS Podcast, Black Gaming Network. You can find their stuff on Facebook, on Podbean, and Spotify and Apple iTunes. I posted on my Twitter and Facebook page. Definitely check them out. I was a guest on that show, and you can find more information about them. But we're doing a war room segment with them. We're going to war with them, with fun stuff. So definitely look out for that. But we got to wrap this up. And I want to thank everybody for coming in, listening to the show. And we will catch y'all on our next level. Stage clear. Let's go.
Peace out.